Yo, what's good? So, I had the bright idea to study Spanish for a week. So some might call me crazy, some might call me brilliant. But I was thinking, I learned French. What if I tried learning Spanish? So, here's the results. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Pepsi Cola. Yo quiero aprender español, pero yo creo.
Learning a language from scratch is never easy. You don't know anything and everything you learn is new, making it unbelievably frustrating. Unfortunately, I had forgotten how hard it was to start from the beginning, and I immediately hit a roadblock. Having to look up every single word you don't know, which is basically everything at this point, can become very tedious very quickly. Thankfully, after an hour of studying, I was able to come up with a small introduction.
Okay, I'm getting so ahead of myself. There's just so many things I'm doing right now. Okay, what do I got so far? It's been almost an hour. Okay. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo Pepsi Cola. Tengo 5 años y yo vivo en Los Ángeles. Mi comida favorita es coreana y mi música favorita es el jazz. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hoy es the second day. The second day wasn't all that much different. Immediately after starting to speak, I was confronted with the fact that there were so many things I still didn't know how to say. It's important in this stage to not focus on all the things that you don't know, but rather to focus on building upon the things that you do know and have already learned. I've asked myself over this past year why I've continued to study languages despite the challenges, and the conclusion I've come to is that I study languages for moments like these. Okay. Hola, me llamo Pepsi Cola. Hola, me llamo Pepsi Cola. Tengo 5 años. Yo vivo en Los Ángeles. Mi música favorita es el jazz. Mi comida favorita es coreana. Si me preguntas cómo pasé mi tiempo libre, yo diría que la mayoría de todos los días tengo que trabajar. Pero cuando tengo algo tiempo libre, me gusta buscar un nuevo restaurante donde comer. That's what I learned yesterday. Oh my god. I sped up the video here 2 times because anyone who studies a language knows there's a lot of ums and pauses when you first start speaking because it takes time for you to remember the words or the phrases that you're trying to say, and I didn't want to bore you with that. Anyhow, I continued studying, building upon what I had already knew, and was finally able to get away from simpler grammar structures and started to work on longer sentences.
Alright. By the time I got to the 3rd day, I had an idea of what to expect. I had a solid introduction and had learned at least 100 words. Of course, I was still struggling, but I thought maybe I could change it up a bit, and as luck would have it, I finally hit a breakthrough. On HelloTalk, an app I used to practice languages, I had a conversation with a Spanish speaker and my friend who was learning Spanish. I made a game that taught me not only a really important grammar structure, but also allowed me to pick up some useful vocabulary. The game we played was a version of Would You Rather, but dumbed down for beginner me. The game was Do you like blank or blank more? While we were playing, I made a guess, and here was my genuine reaction.
¿Te gusta más la manzana o la naranja? La fruit. Fruta? Oh my god, that's right! It's right! La fruta? Yo, let's go! No, I'm serious. Serio. Watching the conversation back, the whole situation is indeed hilarious, but also brought an important point up to the surface: the importance of pronunciation. My friend asked me what I was saying, which is why I had to say fruit. It was a good lesson and a good reminder of the fact that no matter how much you know in a language, if they can't understand you, especially in terms of pronunciation, it really kills your chances of communicating successfully. But overall, I think it was a good experience and a lot of fun. So if you're learning a language, it's definitely worth trying to speak to a native speaker regardless of your level. I find that most of the time they're happy to talk to you and respect the effort you're making to learn the language. Having gotten to the halfway point of my Spanish language learning journey, I had high hopes for the rest of the week and looked forward to what was in store. Unfortunately, life had something else in mind.
Today is day 4 of studying Spanish. It's almost midnight, and I'm fucking tired. Sorry for swearing. I'm gonna study Spanish for 50 minutes. I'm gonna set the timer right now. Yeah. Here we go. How am I gonna study Spanish today? I have no idea.
Remember that whole thing about being inconsistent? Well, yep, life was kicking me in the ass and it wasn't easy to convince myself to study. But I think that's one of the other things people don't really tell you about learning a language. The secret to learning a language isn't about having the best app or moving to a foreign country. I found that whether or not you can learn a language really comes down to one thing: consistency. So knowing this, I powered my way through those 15 minutes only to...
I forgot I didn't study Spanish today. And it's 12:15 a.m. And wow, I'm gonna study it anyways. But I'm gonna keep it super simple. What to do when you are feeling super tired and you don't know what to study. I'm gonna study verbs because I need to learn important verbs. Like just practicing the conjugation.
Day 5 was certainly not easy, but luckily I had a clear idea of what I wanted to study, and knowing what you want to study makes the whole process a lot less overwhelming and intimidating. Unfortunately, this was the last day I actually got the chance to really study Spanish, as some stuff came up at the end of my week. But throughout the days where I didn't sit down and study Spanish, I tried to practice and recall the information I learned. So I'm going to count that. So what does studying Spanish look like for a week? Now I think you can kind of see, or you probably have a good idea of what it looks like. But the real question we want to know the answer to: is it possible to learn a language in a week? Or is it possible to become conversational in a week? The answer? Kind of. But really, how fluent you want to be in a language depends on you. I think for me, it's not so much about how much you can communicate, but about how much you can understand. Or rather, how comfortable you feel with the language. And on a similar note, I think your level of speaking and listening correlates directly to how comfortable you feel. So for all the non-native English speakers out there, don't worry, you're doing great. I believe in you, and I think in the coming year, I'm going to start putting out material for non-native English speakers. Anyways, I hope you liked my video. Pepsi out!